So did you close this transfer window with a relief or not?
I actually did. It was a very intensive transfer window that we started working for months ago. Part of that was closing some of the most important signings for us early, before the preseason started. And then there were some opportunities that we were pursuing, and some that presented themselves late, and that we needed to react and take advantage of. So ended up being a long and intensive period, but now this cycle is over, and this week we're already preparing what are we going to be doing for the next couple of months to be ready to act in the next transfer window.
Was the main part of your strategy the fast action, because we already signed 4 players, even the preseason started?
Yeah, for a coach is always easiest to work with a group that he knows. We wanted to give our coach the opportunity to work with the players from the beginning, help the players gel into the team faster, and go through the whole preparation period, so that when the first game, which was the first championship game against Lubin, comes, that we are already a team, not that a couple of days before we are scrambling for solutions.
Did you have an option player for each player which was in Legia before? Because when Thibaut Moulins left to Polak, 2 days after that, you signed with Chris Phillips.
Actually, those two are completely unrelated events. We did anticipate from before. We started making a plan in October, which positions we will be looking for. I don't think Chris Phillips and Thibaut Moulins are the same position. Chris Phillips is more of a defensive midfielder. Thibaut Moulins is like what we call a center midfielder, a number 8, maybe the one that can play a 10 as well. I think that it wasn't one-for-one change. Chris Phillips was in plans anyways. To be fair with Moulins, what you guys don't know, we actually turned down an offer for Moulins early in January from Belgium, and then we started to working with him on a new contract proposal. And then an opportunity came that was good for us and good for him, and that we thought it was smart for us as a club to take. So sometimes in football, you know, unforeseen things happen. We try to have some scenarios ready so that we can act. Considering that we have Monczynski and Antolic that can play well in this position, we didn't think there was an urgent need to replace Moulins.
I think that this transfer window was really okay for almost everybody, for the club, for the players and for the fans, but we signed contract only with 1 Polish player. Why?
It's a very good question. What we see as a final product is that we signed just Kwitniewski, right, who you are referring to, as a player that we think is the future of this club. What you don't know is that we were in serious negotiation with other 4 Polish guys that, for whatever reason, one or another, we were not able to bring in. And then there was other players that we potentially had an eye on, but they were out of our current financial possibilities, and it wasn't wise for us to spend that amount of money on a Polish player that would help us. So that doesn't mean that we don't look in the Polish market. Actually, we do, with first care, and that we understand that the number 1 priority for us is to have a quality team, is to have a team that can be competitive, and to be rooted with majority of Polish players in the locker room. So part of our plan now in the next transfer window is that we follow these players, and when there is the right opportunity, quality, economically, then a Polish guy is of course a plus.
Talking about young Polish players, I cannot ask about Majecki and Giro. So what is your plan for them? So
Majecki and Giro are young players that have been with us this winter in the US and in Spain. Giro actually extended his stay by how well he did because we had a plan to loan him before the camp. We were thinking that for him and for his future is best that he gets opportunity to play in senior football in first division, and we appreciate the partnership with Suwałki in that sense to help us develop Giro and potentially bring back in the summertime. The same as the plan is with Majecki, who we think is the future #1 of Legia. We want him to become that, and we hope that he will gather experiences that he's ready to carry on his shoulders the responsibility of being the Legia goalkeeper.
So we can divide those transfers for two, players for now and players for the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Maybe the fans try to think only about the immediate. And I respect that a lot, because that is their emotion, and that is their part in this whole thing we're doing. My part is to be a little bit back and to exclude emotion and try to be smart, not just for today, but for tomorrow and for the day after.
I thought that fans really liked our transfer window, but the problem is that we changed almost the half of the team. So it's not a bit risky for Legia?
I'm happy to hear that the fans had positive reactions about the transfer moves that we made. This, of course, is an immediate impression that I think is now lasting, because it's being confirmed on the pitch that players are providing value to the squad and are helping the team be more competitive and achieve good results. When we were discussing what we need for the future, we agreed in the club that we need to change a little bit of the dynamics in the locker room, and that our primary and most important games will be, yes, in the springtime, later in the springtime, but also in the summertime. So we chose to have a larger change in the winter, so that we give time for players 2-3 months to adapt, to help us in the playoffs, and then to be ready and already a gelled team in July and August, when we will be competing for Europe, hopefully. So we chose on purpose to go a little bit bigger, and in the summertime we will be a little bit more conservative, with less changes being done. Already now I can tell you that less than half of that will be done in the summer.
Okay, less than half in the summer, but in the next winter, can we expect the same big transfer window?
Probably not.
That's good to hear. But when will the stabilization come?
I think that our process now has been to identify which places we need to add quality into the team, identify opportunities that exist for us on the market, and see which players from inside are ready to come and help the team. So we acted on it. I think that right now there is a period in which there's not going to be no more changes, significant changes in the team. That in the summertime, if we add a player or two that could be significant impact players, could happen. But I think that this period is going to give the stability to the team to gel into an evolved group that will lead us to success on the pitch.
I asked about stabilization, so now I have to ask about rejuvenation of the squad, because it was also one of the goals, but we didn't transfer so young players.
It's true, one of the goals for the club is to rejuvenate the squad, but that is a goal that is in a medium and a long run goal. So I think that we started going in that direction. We thought that we still need players that are ready to make an immediate impact and to raise the level of the team. That's why we opted for players that are 23, 25, 27, more or less maximum. Probably Eduardo is the only exception to that brings something else, quality-wise, character-wise, to the pitch. And we chose these mature ages as the time, what we need now. In the summer transfer window, we are already looking at a different profile, slightly younger players to continue rejuvenating the squad. It's not an immediate goal, but a middle to long-term goal. So over the next several transfer windows, we will really calculate that our average years drop down from 28 on average to below 27 to around 26, hopefully even lower than that in the long run.
You told about the age profile, but now I have to ask about the position profile, because we transferred so many defensive players. Why so many defensive?
We identified in the fall that our team needs the most help in those positions. Some things happened that the players themselves saw that they are not ready for the level, so that's why there were a couple of players went on loan that will give them continuity of play. There are still our players that we want to consider for the future, and that we feel that we needed to strengthen that part of the team the most. And now we're going to look at new player profiles, new positions where we need more quality to give us for the future.
Can you say that every of these transfers pays off already?
I wouldn't rush. It's in my nature, but also in the role that I take to be a little bit more responsible and give time to the players that have come here. I am happy to see that it's positive already, but I think that the final calculation we can have is maybe after a year and saying, hey, this guy seems like he has settled in, he has grown in value, he has contributed to our successes. Because at the end of the day, I consider that our team needs to be successful for me to say that my part of the job, that is dealing with transfers, was done successfully.
Okay, so I wish that for you and for the club.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.